Well, wearing a mask, there's probably no surprises or guesses where I am today. I am in WA. I'm in Perth. And government regulation says during the lockdown you should wear a mask indoors. So I'm doing that. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Smith. I am Group Managing Director of People2People in Australia and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. It's Friday afternoon on the east coast of Australia, 12:30, which means it is our employment market update live here on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn each week. Yes, I am in WA, and it's been a little bit of a roller coaster over the last week or so. Obviously, with the lockdown and the like, it was such a surprise. We didn't expect it at all. I'm actually over here for Kim Padmore, who is the Managing Director of Western Australia. It was her wedding, and it was a fabulous story. There's a picture. She looked great on the day. Congratulations, Kim. Fantastic. So the Premier actually came out and announced that the lockdown would occur last Friday at midnight, and that was at 2:38 p.m. And Kim was actually married at 3 p.m. She just made it, and then we had the reception. There's me going on my only obligatory walk. So you can see the streets were empty. That was on, you get 1 hour to walk around WA last weekend, and that was me walking around Northbridge last weekend. So, but that's not why we're here today. We're actually here. I can see that we've had a comment already from, I know somebody who knows, Pearl knows Kim. And if you do have any comments at all today, whether it be on Facebook, LinkedIn or YouTube, we can see them live and we'll be able to come back to you. But yes, Pearl, she was stunning on the day. But what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about, we're going to have our regular numbers section, and I've got a little bit of an international flavour and some recruitment statistics from the ABS to talk about today. Then we'll be chatting with Chris Williams from our Sydney accounting team. He's got an opportunity to talk to us about, and also going to give us an update of what's happening in the accounting market in Sydney. And then we'll be talking to Bianca Luck, the Director of our Contracting Services, and she's going to be announcing this month's Temp of the Month in each of the states where there were nominations. So we'll be having a chat to Bianca about that. But first, let's get into our regular numbers section. So today I've got a few numbers that I'd like to talk to you about. The first one is, well, the first table that I'm going to show you, and don't just pop it up yet, Jaden, because I want to explain what we're actually looking at. So this is from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and they actually survey entities throughout Australia on a monthly basis as to their recruitment activity. So they have recruitment activity, then they also have recruitment difficulty, and whether their companies are going to expect to increase staff. So recruitment activity, and I'll just read this, refers to the proportion of employers either currently recruiting or who had recruited in the previous month. Recruitment difficulty rate is the proportion of recruiting employers who experienced difficulty hiring, and those who, and the last one is increasing staff. So I've never showed these numbers on Friday in the numbers section before. So let's pop them up now, Jaden. So you can see there that recruitment activity, 46% of organisations either were currently recruiting or had recruited in the previous month. So that's nearly half of all organisations in Australia that were surveyed, at least, and it's no change from January to February. From February to March. So this activity is consistent. The next one is recruitment difficulty, and that's up 11%. And this is where, sorry, Jaden, if you could just pop back to the last one. So this is recruitment difficulty is 49% of companies are experiencing difficulty in actually recruiting. And that is up 11%. And that really gels with the anecdotes that I'm getting from the staff around People2People. The last one is those companies that are expecting to increase staff. Nearly a quarter of all businesses are expecting to increase staff. That is good news if you're a job seeker. It's not so good news if you are looking to hire because there is difficulty. So what about the recruitment difficulty across Australia? If we go to the next graph now, and this is by remoteness areas over time. So we have major cities, inner regional, outer regional, and remote and very remote. Across the last 5 years, in terms of the difficulty to hire. So you can see in major capital cities, 40% of organisations in 2020 had difficulty, 46% in 2018, which I keep saying was the top of the market. And then you can see the numbers for inner regional, outer regional, and by far the hardest place to recruit for at the moment, and even last year, is very remote. And that is relevant for the state that I'm in at the moment, for WA. So some very interesting numbers there. I encourage people to go check it out on the ABS. But what about overseas? So we also have, there's a lot of talk about what's going on in the US at the moment, particularly now that Biden has had his first 100 days. There was, I remember last year when he was first elected, people were talking about the possibility of a double-dip recession. And there is, they are a long way away from that forecast being come to reality. I'll just pop up the next slide here. And this is the strongest consumer spending number growth in the US. So if you want to pop it up now, Jaden, since World War II. That is just a remarkable change. And it says that although the recovery is well on its way in the US at the moment, that will transfer into general economic activity, employment growth, and the like. It will pass through the economy over in 2021 and into 22. Be interested to see. In the old days, what was the old America catch cold, we get pneumonia. Let's hope that that transfers over into positive economic activity. I thought I'd also share an international stat here from Japan, with the Olympics coming up in the next week. If you want to pop up the next graph for me, this is unemployment and employed people in Japan, and I am always absolutely amazed by the unemployment rate. That is the right-hand side, the light green number. So unemployment from 2010. So it peaked at 3.5% during the recession, during the GFC. And you can see what's happened during the pandemic there. But so they're sitting at I think it's 2.3% unemployment at the moment. Remarkable number when you compare it to ours. The Treasurer here in Australia is suggesting that we need to have a 4 in front of our unemployment number to get any sort of wage price growth. So salary increases more than 1% a year. So imagine if we had 2% as they do in Japan. So that's it for the numbers section. So whilst I take a seat, I think we have a vacancy or a video of a vacancy that's running at the moment. So if you wanted to pop that up, Jaden, for me now, and I'll take a seat.
Hi, I'm Colleen Deere, Senior Consultant HR Specialist. I'm working with a boutique, high-performing healthcare agency who is expanding, and experienced recruitment consultants are required to join their team. You'll be a valued part of a close-knit environment with autonomy provided to continue your successful recruitment career within the healthcare industry. Build relationships with your candidates and your clients in an environment that is creative, innovative, and in demand. Reporting to the MD, there are rewarding opportunities available across the following desks: emergency medicine, allied health, nursing, aged care, GPs, amongst more. This position is ideal for a motivated, high-performing consultant who can work autonomously in the workplace. What I'm looking for is a proven track record as a high-billing recruitment consultant, a strong desire to be successful and passionate about the healthcare industry. Having the ability to quickly build strong rapport with candidates and clients is also important, along with a flair for sales and business development. Self-driven consultants who would like to move into the healthcare industry will also be considered for these roles. So if you are interested in working in a modern, creative space with impressive perks and benefits such as mindfulness events, rewarding incentives, and attractive salary packaging, tasty food and drinks on offer, and genuine flexibility given, take the next step in your career and work for an agency who has been very profitable and is continuing to thrive. Please apply today through the appropriate link.
G'day, Chris.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm very well indeed. So how's the weather in Sydney?
Yeah, it's actually quite nice and sunny outside today.
You know, it was interesting here in WA. So obviously it's still the morning here, but it's a Mediterranean climate over here. So they had the first proper cold front comes through. It always rains in the winter, and so they have fronts that come through. And the first one arrived yesterday. Of course, it would have to arrive while I'm here. And while I was walking back to my hotel. So there you go, typical. So, but you've got a job that you want to talk to us about, but you also, I'm really keen to hear what's happening in the accounting market in Sydney right now.
Yeah, definitely. I feel as if every time I speak to you, Mark, it's about payroll. And today's no different. It's not the job that I will be discussing, but essentially, the market in Sydney for payroll is probably the busiest I've ever seen since entering the industry at all levels, whether that be administrator, officer, senior payroll officer, or even management. So P2P alone, myself, I'm working on, I think, 6 or 7 payroll positions, all in Macquarie Park, all to start ASAP, as they always are. And
so these are temporary and contract positions, yeah?
Yeah,
wow.
So they're
a mix. Year thing, or do you think it's a job maker thing, or a FBT thing? What do you reckon?
A lot of the opportunities that we are recruiting are project based. So what we've seen is a mix of new projects coming on board and looking for people or candidates to work on those projects, or teams have seconded the current payroll officers to work on those projects and obviously looking to backfill. So as you know, there's no surprise we saw a lot of those projects put on hold last year as we've entered 2021 and out of the first quarter. I think pretty much every client I've spoken to who was going to be doing some sort of, automation or implementation has got the green light to go ahead again.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, well, that's really interesting. So, what about areas outside of payroll? What's happening there?
Yeah, so outside of payroll, the one thing that I would say is quite adamant that I have seen over the last month to 2 months has been the increase in qualified roles coming through. And probably the lack of accounts payable is probably the biggest thing I've seen, which is a little bit of a surprise. You would see, obviously, once the economy is improving and businesses are on the up, you would assume there'd be more bills to pay, and as such, looking to hire at that level. But it's almost as if businesses are looking to get the upper end of their team sorted before they then figure out exactly what it is they need to work quite successful. So qualified accountants all across Sydney are definitely in demand at the moment, and I'm sure that's probably going to increase as we get closer, to year end in the next month or so.
So let me get that right. So you can't find accounts payable people, is that right? Or there's just not many vacancies? Did I get that? I may have misheard you there.
I would say it's a mixture of both. So a lot of candidates with a strong skill set, I guess we would say the career APs are not moving because it's finally been realized, the worth that they actually have to the organization, and finally getting probably the remuneration or the respect that they deserve. And they're not looking to move, obviously, once they've got a salary increase of some sort or flexibility or whatever it may be. And in turn, a lack of then candidates entering the market at that level.
Yeah, wow. Well, a few years ago, and I'm sure you'd remember that there was a huge, people were saying that, that role would not exist in Australia because it'd be all offshored. Well, that's certainly not the case at all. So tell us about the job that you've got.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. So it's a business analyst position initially for 6 months, but take that duration with a grain of salt. It could definitely be another 6 months or lead to a longer term opportunity. What makes this role quite unique is it actually doesn't sit with the finance team. And actually sits alongside the customer service manager of all people. So what has happened is they've went through a systems change. They've moved from Oracle to SAP. And unfortunately, they've had a few teething issues with their order book, with data not merging or getting duplicates of certain orders. And as you can imagine, that's something that they want to be fixing ASAP. So what they're looking to do is get a business analyst to not only come on board and rectify those issues, but also identify why that is happening. What makes the role quite interesting, though, as well, is they want someone who has Power BI experience to not only fix the issue, but then create some sort of a dashboard to present to key stakeholders in the business to kind of make the non-finance people in the organization understand the data in a very clear manner. So the role's to start essentially from next week.
So
salary,
from Monday.
Yeah, from if we found them, it would be a Monday start. Give me a call. But the main criteria is SAP is essential, as well as previous knowledge with some sort of Power BI or Tableau. Any dashboard reporting tool probably would do, but the SAP is the main criteria there. And obviously the strong communication skills to not only liaise with the customer service manager, but the other key stakeholders in the business too, and advanced Excel skills.
Any work from home opportunity? So do they have to be based in Sydney, or
they do have to be based in Sydney? The main reason being the client likes to, I guess, see the initial stages of what the plan will be. Eventually, once you're settled into the role, then there's definitely a working from home arrangement. The position is based in Mascot, and the great thing about it is they actually offer free parking on site, which, if you drive to Mascot, that is definitely a luxury. And in terms of the salary expectations, to be very honest, that they're open. They're looking to pay someone, I guess, basically on their experience. And, more than happy to have a conversation with anyone who would have that skill set.
Great. And if somebody, I can see that Jaden has popped up the details there, or the link to the job, which is great. And if somebody wanted to get in touch with you,
what's the best way to reach me would be just give me a call on 0282709785. As I mentioned, we are looking to move relatively quick on this role, ideally looking to organise interviews for early next week, with the role definitely starting by the end of next week.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, great. Sounds like the market is moving then in Sydney for accounting. And and if you've got payroll skills, you got to call Chris straight away. Which is great. Rightio. Well, thanks, Chris. Thanks for the update and for telling us about that opportunity. Let's move on now and have a quick chat to Bianca Luck, who is based in our Sydney CBD office. She's the Director of Contracting and Temporary Services. G'day, B. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Mark. How you going?
Oh, not too bad. I'm obviously, I was stuck in WA. I can leave, but I'm here for at least another week now. So, but you're here to talk to us about the temp of the month.
Yes, I am. So this is my second week running, guys. So I'm really excited to announce temp of the month for April. So we've had a handful of nominations for two of our different offices for Sydney and Brisbane. So here are the nominations. So the nominations for Sydney are Rebecca Escott. Her manager said, Rebecca hit the ground running with a smile. She has a professional and friendly approach, and she was always, just like she was always part of our permanent team. The second nomination is Jai Thirumalai. Jai is very reliable. I can really count on him. Bethany Major is the third one. So Beth has gone above and beyond ever since she started working without any complaints. She's always puts her hand up for extra work, which is amazing, which is great. I love to hear that. Nicole Bowles came into the organisation to assist and immediately added value. She's knowledgeable, stable, hardworking, and doesn't wait to be told what to do or how to do it. She just gets on with it. So the winner for Sydney is Jai Thirumalai. Now, Jay has completed 6 contracts for people-to-people, Mark, but with 2 of our clients. So he's been asked back on multiple occasions. I can't ask for more than that. He always just comes in, his performance is amazing, and he constantly gets asked back, which is great news for us. So he's the winner.
Well, thank you, Jai. Well, thank you, Jay. I'm glad you were pronouncing Jay's name there. But I just want to say, if you're watching, thank you very much. It really is appreciated. With the work that you do, you make us look good. So thank you for that. And Brisbane.
So the nominations for Brisbane are, so we've got Louisa Lai. Louisa is absolutely fabulous. She's flexible adaptable. Nothing is ever too much of trouble, and she fitted in like she's always been part of the team. She's such a dream to have her working with us. The second one is Jennifer Kai. So Jennifer's been working with us for several months now and been outstanding. She's gained an understanding of our business and our accounting processes, and she's a very hard worker and takes pride in her work. Now, these guys, it was like splitting hairs, so it was too hard to choose. So we've decided we have joint winners for Brisbane, Louisa and Jennifer Kai.
Congratulations. Thanks, Jennifer, I should say, and Louise. What am I doing? That's terrible. Congratulations to both of you. That's really good news. I can see that Lisa in the comments here, Bianca, says that she's completely in love with your lipstick.
Oh, so, thank you. I like underrated. So I just want to send a message to all hiring managers. Please don't forget to nominate our temps for all of their wonderful work that they do. It's a really great opportunity for us to acknowledge their hard work. So please pop in a nomination. You can do it very quickly when you approve a timesheet, send it through, and then we can discuss the nominations next month. But that's it for me.
Great, thank you, Bianca. Thanks very much. You're a regular on Facebook on Friday, so I'm sure I'll see you again. Okay. See you. So that brings us nearly to the end, and of course, at the end, we always talk about our Twitter poll. So, what were the results of last week? Let's put them up. Are you working more hours for less pay? And it's pretty much 50-50. 546 votes on Twitter. 50.2% said yes and 49.8% said no. So it's a 50-50 result. Now, I have just realised I don't have the results that we had from LinkedIn. I think they were slightly different. Tell you what, I'll bring those back next week and we can have a look at those. But next, we thought we'd also, because we had some really good PR in New Zealand about the results from our New Zealand team, about that exact question, in terms of people did feel that they were working longer hours for less money, particularly in New Zealand. I think the number started with a 6, so it's 60-odd%, but I'll bring those back for next week. But also, it's a nice lead into this week's Twitter poll, which is regarding the Tasman trans-Tasman bubble, I should say. So are you considering a business trip to New Zealand? And for me, the answer is yes. I'm over there in May 20th to see our Frog recruitment team in Auckland. But what's your answer? Yeah, for sure, maybe later, or no, I'm not going at all. 6 days to vote on that. We've had one vote already. Jump online. This is the Frog recruitment numbers from, I think it was April, and they said 82% said no. I wonder what people to people's results will be, and that was 925 votes. So I wonder what they'll be for us next week. I'll do a bit of comparison. I'll spend some time on that next week. But that brings us to the end of the broadcast for this week. Enjoy the weekend. Here in WA, they've got with masks, there's the local derby between Fremantle and West Coast Eagles. I'm sure I'll be watching that on the TV. But otherwise, I will see you next week, 12:30 Australian Eastern time, for another market update on Facebook, YouTube and LinkedIn. Thanks again for watching.